I hope you can hear me my name is Naa Amerley Asante-Armar, and welcome to the Mothering Sunday series, coming live to you from Ghana on the Power to Our Mothers Foundation Africa YouTube channel, in collaboration with Speak Up and Empower Africa, which is an online heart-focused or heart-centered community which brings together people, businesses to help them basically create and live out their dreams. So welcome. If this is your first time today to Mothering Sunday, please do just let me know where in the world you are joining us from. Always great to know who we are connecting with. And please also just take a few seconds just to subscribe to the Power to Our Mothers Foundation Africa YouTube channel. So today on Mothering Sunday series, if you're new to us for the first time, this is a very free flow, informal conversation that I have with my sons, the men, to hear about what influence their mother has had in their life. And today I'm really happy to be joined by my guest, Ken Ouko, who is joining me today from the UK via Kenya. We'll hear more from him. Ken is, well, a number of things, but he is an entrepreneur, a finance investment coach. He's also founder of Ken's MoneyMatters, which you can find on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and also co-founder of the Gene Coaching School. So please do join me in giving him a warm virtual welcome. Ken, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. I hope you can hear me.
Can hear you loudly and clearly. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much. Do you know your name Asante is Swahili? I know you know that.
I know. I'm surrounded by so many people that keep telling me of that. Fantastic. So yes, thank you. And it means thank you, right?
Asante for the and yeah, thank you so much. I'm Ken Ouko. I've changed my name now. It used to be Kenneth Kaunda Joe, but I decided to change it because I'm going back to my roots. So I did leave my ancestral name because in high school we were too many people with Ouko because it was a big family. So I decided to change my name to have my dad's second name. But that was a mistake that I definitely won't repeat again. So now I'm back to my grandfather's name. So I'm back to now Kenneth Ouko or Ken Ouko or whichever way. I'm glad to be here. Like you said, I am just I'm a numbers person. I'm into finance. I'm into investments. My main goal is, of course, financial literacy in Africa. That's my main goal and main focus right now. So despite everything I do, my focus is to improve financial literacy among my brothers and sisters. That's the goal. And I'm happy to be here on this platform to talk about mothers today. It's a pleasure.
Fantastic. So we'll mention it again at the end where you can find out where you can reach them, because financial literacy is very important for us, because we have the two aspects, don't we? We have those of us who were born on the continent, and if you like, credit and I think investments may not actually work quite the same there, but then those of us who are outside the continent, again, who are much more used to credit and other kinds of maybe financial tools. So I think what you're doing is crucial. So yes, we will remind you of how you can reach Ken after. So to the subject of the day, my dear Ken, please do tell us, how would you describe your relationship with your mother?
I would say it's a healthy relationship. First of all, I'm happy to be here at this time when people are talking about, the society is quite divided on the role of the woman, and the society is divided because it's intentional. I think it's intentional that there is this fight going on between especially the black woman and the black man. And so I'm happy to be here at a time when people are, talking about the importance of the black woman and the superiority. So I keep telling a lot of these feminists that you are fighting for equality at a time you should be fighting for superiority. So you do not know what you're doing when you keep fighting for equality. You should be fighting to be superior because that's your place in the African society. So I'm really happy to be talking about this at this particular time. That's number one. Number two, I'm also happy because we need to come back to our values as a people. What is lacking even in the continent that we keep complaining about, it's not about the leaders or anything else. These people are brought up by women. These women inculcated some values into these people. These women inculcated values into us. We are who we are because of the women who brought us up. So at a time whereby we have lost so much values in a society and people are doing everything that's so wrong, I think it's very important that we have this kind of discussions. So that's good to say, and I'm just happy to be here at this particular time, because everywhere I am, I'm always saying, you know what, we need to respect our women. We need to uplift the woman and not be equal. We need to bring them up so that they are much more superior like they were before. Having said that, my relationship with my mom is quite a healthy one. She's basically the cornerstone of my life. She's been there since I was a child. Of course, she gave birth to me, and she's always been there for me. I would not say it's perfect. It's just healthy. And healthy here would mean that, you know what, we are both going through the challenges together. Just recently, we had a disagreement. And because we are so similar with my mom, we can understand when we have a disagreement, she can see herself in me and I can see myself in her. So we are not very defensive about it. If I tell her, Mom, you know, I really reacted like you would react. And she would be like, yes, you did. So our relationship is not perfect, it's healthy. And because the world is changing and we are more aware right now than our parents were, she's also very open to learning from me, which is something, an amazing feature I have to commend her for. Just 2 weeks ago, we had an issue, and she called me, and we spoke over it. You know, anytime we have a disagreement, she speaks to me. She also listens to my side and says sorry when she goes over the line, and I listen to her and I say sorry, and I also tell her, you know what, I'm just like you, Mom. That's who we are. So, what I'm saying is that we've modeled a very healthy relationship, which is not very common in Africa because we had this detached relationship with our parents. But with my mom, I've managed to model a very healthy, very friendly relationship. Again, she's not, when she gave birth to me, she was just 16. So you can imagine the age gap is not as big. So we can speak about everything under the sun, really. So she's been my guide. So we have a very good relationship, I would say.
That's fantastic. Wow. And do you have sisters?
I do have sister. I have siblings. I have 2 sisters and 2
Okay.
brothers. So we're 5.
Okay. And what I wanted to ask is probably 2 questions in one, but I was going to ask, like, how do you think your relationship with your mother and how she has raised you, how do you think that's influenced the relationships you have with other women, so your siblings or even just other women and girls generally?
I must say, actually, this I would actually say I thank my mom, because let's take a normal African society. We would say that the ladies would be doing everything. For example, the ladies would have their roles, the men would have their roles. I can tell you categorically, I didn't have that. I've been cleaning and cooking since I was a child, properly. I actually did cook for my sisters. Up to right now, when I go home, I still cook for my sisters, and they sit down, and they're younger than me. I don't mind it at all. It's not an issue to me. So we didn't have those role division in terms of gender, that is. So that's one, and that is something that has also modeled me to who I am today. Number one, it has modeled me to be very independent. And that means I'm not the kind of man who would sit down and wait for a woman to come and do some roles because I believe that's their role. No. I would, if I'm independent, it means I do what is right for me. And I won't stay hungry because my girlfriend or whatever is not around to cook for me, for example. That's I find that very normal, but these are some of the simple things that we have forgotten, the values that we have forgotten. So my relationship with the women I am with, I must say, the truth is now, we do date our moms, whether people like it or not. The way we
Very
date our
true.
moms is that they brought us up. They inculcated these values into us. Yeah, whatever beliefs we have about the world, about our environment, about women, came from our parents. And largely our moms, because our moms, like me, I spent more time around my mom than around my dad. So in that sense, in that breath, it would mean that I am a reflection of her to some level. Because when I was still an open slate, she wrote some things on me. And it's only natural that when I'm looking for a lady in my life, I'll only be looking for a lady who matches those values, those things I consider values. They may be negative. Some of them may not be the right ones, but that's what I'll be looking for. And that's why I'm saying we date our mothers, whether we want it or not. So what happens in this case is that my relationship with women has been so far, for me, it's been an amazing one, because my mom did make me a very independent person. That's one. Number two, we had very candid talks with my mom when I was a young boy. So we could talk about, safe sex, for example, at a very young age. We could talk about some of the gory stuff that African parents would not talk to their children about at a very young age. And that makes me very open with the ladies I date and the children or my siblings too. I talk to them openly about their lives. At a very young age, for example, I could buy my sister's pads. And, people could be asking me, why are you doing that? Like, you see things like periods, we don't have normal conversations about them. Me, I'm like, okay, I used to be a flight attendant, so I could fly to, London, wherever. And they had quality stuff as we believed, of course, the Western notion at that time, which is true based on the way things are set up. So, but I could go and buy them, very girly stuff. I could go to a shop and look for pads. I can go to a shop and look for panties. I don't mind at all. These are my sisters. So you see that kind of, my mom did not bring me up with that notion that there are certain things that cannot be discussed, that there are certain things that cannot be, spoken about. So my relationship with the women in my life, be it my sisters, be it the people I've dated, has been fully respectful. That's number one, and very open in that you can discuss everything. Now, even talking about the finance journey that I'm on right now, it's because of my mom. Yeah. My mom was very good with money, and I dare say very good. She's one person who always has money somewhere for those, those emergencies. There's no day I've had an emergency and my mom didn't have money somewhere. So she's taught me some values, financial values, and all these values, you look for them in a relationship. Financial values, the religious values that we have, the beliefs we have, everything. So even though we are changing now because the world is changing and we are learning more, but they give us the foundation. So the respect, I respect people around me, being patient, for example, all these values came from her. So even what I'm doing in my life generally, which is financial literacy, came from my mom at a certain level because she was good with money. And I remember in primary school, she was already selling some things we call mandazis. They're this, I don't know if you know mandazis. We have them. They're made of flour. It's like chapati or something. So she was selling some nice things in primary school. So we had like a small shop, like a tuck shop,
Yeah.
So I learned how to deal with money at a very young age. And that has set me on a path whereby I am very good with financial issues. So you see, everything we've done, to some level, I can attribute it back to my mom, to be honest. Every single thing. Be it dedication to finish what you start, be it living a toxic environment to just do what makes you happy. My mom always supports everything I do. For example, when I was leaving Kenya for Europe, I didn't know what I was going to do, for example. I got a scholarship and I had a very good job back in Kenya. And everyone was like, why are you leaving a good job to go and do a master's and you don't know what comes after that? But my mom was one person who was like, you know what, if that's what makes you happy, please go for it. And here I am now doing what I like doing. So if I did stay because the society wanted me to stay, then I wouldn't be here today. So my mom has always supported me, even when things go contrary to what the wider society would want. So for me, that support is the greatest thing I could actually put around my mom. And that support now, I put it in my relationships. Anything that my sisters are doing, anything that the women around me are doing, I support them to be the best at it. So you see how these values always come into our lives. I've never ever put a lady down when she wants to achieve certain dreams. Even if you want to be the president and you're my girlfriend or you're my whatever, please go for it and I'll support you 100%. Because I do believe that women have something to offer that to a level that we don't as men. So I also believe that the woman in my life has to be respected because it's the garden whereby I germinate my dreams as a person. So if I'm with a woman, whether it is just friends, whether it is my siblings who are ladies, I always talk to them knowing that they have that garden, they have that womb that carries the generations that we are thinking about. If we're thinking about the future Africa, we are talking about the woman. We are talking about the womb. That's the garden on which we're gonna grow those future generations. So each time I'm treating a woman, especially an African lady, I have to be very honest, because they're superior to some level, I have to put that into perspective. I don't deal a lot with the other races, honestly. I deal more, the people around me are Black women. So these are the people I interact with all the time. These are the people I talk to all the time. These are my sisters. These are my girlfriends, for example, or whoever I'll marry in my life. So I always make sure that I respect that womb. I respect that generational carrier that they have within them. So yes, it has definitely modeled who I am as a person with dealing with every single woman I deal with in my life.
That's powerful. I mean, we could go on and on and on. And thank you, Blue Unicorn Studios, for tuning in. They say that they love what they're hearing. I want to touch on what you said about. Well, it stems from what you said about, okay, so women should be fighting for superiority, not equality. But I guess really what I want to ask you is, by you supporting women, whether it's your sisters, your girlfriend, whoever, do you benefit from that, and how so?
Oh, of course, I benefit now. I do benefit. Number one, like I've benefited from my mom. That's why I'm sitting right here with you right now. That's number one. So that's very obvious, I believe. Number two, a lot of things I've learned now with even regards to superiority of the women are not things that I didn't know that there were certain things. I've been very inquisitive in my life. I've been very different with how I look at things in life generally. So I have learned certain things, but I put my hands into a lot of things when I got into contact with certain women who have been very influential in my life. I have to be honest, I've dated very woke people. They know what they want. They are not they're not what do I say? Not submissive, really. I don't want to call it submissive because submissive is not bad. I would call it they're not subdued. They are not women who are subdued. They will always voice their opinions. They will always go for whatever they want in their careers. They will always say what they believe is right, and they're opinionated. And I like someone who is able to speak.
Outspoken.
So I definitely benefited as I am. I've benefited because the women I've met have been able to teach me a lot of things. These things I'm telling you about the womb and stuff comes from women I have interacted with, including my own girlfriend. So these are things I've learned, including the superiority of the woman. I've gotten a lot of knowledge and information from these people. Now, it's not only on the point of knowledge. I learned from my own siblings too. When I'm trying to guide them and they correct me on how they want to be guided, I'm learning on how to guide them. I'm learning on like being a parent, for example, So I'm learning how to, how do you deal with a woman and how do you deal with a man? It's not the same way. How I approach them and talk to them about different issues help me see the society in a very different way. For example, let's talk about Kenya. I love my country so much, yeah, and I believe I'm gonna be a leader there very soon. That's the dream. But when I came to Europe, I loved Kenya so much. But when I interacted with some black women in Europe, I got the notion that they didn't like it as much. And then now I was very defensive at first and thinking, you left the country, so you feel superior and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I realized, what? It's not that. They were always talking about security and safety in Kenya, for example, for the woman. And that's something that I have to recognize and agree with. For real, they are saying that if I walk in the streets wearing my short skirt, I don't feel safe. Now, me as a man, I would feel okay. I walk on those streets all the time, even at night, since I was born, I feel okay. So I could not understand where these women were coming from. That's a lower scale. So if the woman was telling me, Ken, I don't feel comfortable in Nairobi, for example, walking alone, I would not understand that. I don't feel comfortable using public transport at night. I wouldn't understand that. So I was thinking they have now betrayed their country because they're in a safer environment. But in real sense, that was the truth about the society. And me as a man should be able to see that society from their lens. And I was able to. So they have taught me to look at the society again differently. As men, sometimes we look at the society from what we call the privileged lens. Yeah. So we men are looking at it from a privileged lens. But if you listen to the women, they make you look at the society differently. And for someone who wants to be a leader, you know what to deal with in that sense. So basically, you're learning everything. Now, when it comes to finances, for example, when you deal with these women, I deal with my siblings on finances, the ladies. I deal with the people who are in my life, the women, whether it's dating or whatever. I deal with them financially. Their view on finances are also very different. Because you could find that at a time when people were being brought up, the men could have been told about investments 1, 2, 3, even if it was not as concrete. But they were not told anything to do with investment because they believed that women were going to get married and someone will take care of them, which is a wrong notion. So right now, if I'm talking about women about finance, which actually the highest number of my clients are women. So when I talk to them about finances, I realize that their view about the world and with regards to finances is very different. And their view with regards to investments is very different. And even the kind of abuse they face in relationships can be very financial without them knowing. So you understand that me interacting with these ladies is now helping me know, okay, how do I deal with finances when I'm dealing with women? It's different. So these are some of the things, yes, I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot from women, including now. I'm still learning.
That's powerful, and it's good. At the end of the day, it's good that we learn from each other. But what I pull out from what you are saying, and why I would say is important that you learn from us equally, that we learn from you, is that quite frankly, there are more women in the world than men. So there'll be more of a collective. Fair enough, we can have different views, different
and of course, women have a much higher energy. Even if they're teaching you something, they'll be teaching it from. I would say that emotion is required when you're learning something. Us men are very detached. We can be teaching you something, but it's just the teaching, just the knowledge and the information. But the women will be teaching you from a point of love and a point of care, and that's what we are lacking. Those are some of the things we are lacking in the society today. We lack people who genuinely care. We lack people who genuinely like what they do. We lack people who believe in what they want to change. But women, when they do something, trust me, they want to do it. If they're not doing it, they don't want to do it. So when they're doing it, they care deeply about it. So if they're teaching you something, if they're informing you about something, they care deeply that you get to know what they want to teach you. So again, those energies, that feminine energy, us as men, we need to accept it. And we need to know how to nurture it and benefit from it.
Okay, I literally was just going to ask you. So, for any kind of because number one, I think it is crucial. I just emphasize the point that you make about how we deal with finances, and actually how a lot of us women, we can get we can get ourselves in troubles financially because of that care and the love we have for our families, and that we just, it's so common. I've been there, so I understand. So it's great that you're dealing with that aspect. The question I want to ask, so like, what I guess final message would you like to give? One to your sisters, your mothers, the women, from your perspective, and also to your brothers, the men, about how they interact with and treat women.
Okay, I'll start with the men and then I'll finish with the women, because this discussion is about the women. So we have to give them the last say. And but let me talk about this with the men first of all. Yesterday I made a post. Somebody made a very funny comment that I do smile too much, and it wasn't bad. It just reminded me of what I've been told since I was a young boy. Yeah. And I've always been told that I smile, but this is my personality. I'm a happy person. I'm a joyful person. So why I'm saying this is because this is one of the things that you could say came from my mom. My mom was not a stand-faced woman. She was an easy person. She can smile, she can crack jokes. Even right now, we laugh. We are in the same WhatsApp group. We crack jokes, so we are very easy. So I was brought up in a very easy environment, I would say. But what I want to tell men is that we are not fighting our black women. The fight is not about the black man and the black woman. And that's one thing we need to understand very well. We are very busy fighting the wrong people. We have been told to fight the garden on which we should be germinating our own dreams and our own objectives as a continent. Even if we want to grow as a continent, leave alone the economic discussions, leave alone political discussions, leave alone social discussions, where we need to go directly is the mother, is the womb. If we respect the womb, if we respect what they contribute to our growth, if we respect them and treat them right, we will not be talking about bad leadership. We will not be talking about lack of integrity among us. We will not be talking about lack of simple values among our people. If we can just respect and treat the womb right. And the womb here, I mean any woman you come across. It's not about your sister. It's not about just your mother. It's about every single woman you come across in your life. So that's a very important thing. As men, we must recognize that the moment you are fighting the black woman, you are busy putting poison in the garden that you should be using to germinate your own seeds. And therefore, when you destroy that garden, nobody else is going to give you the garden to germinate your seeds, by the way. You're going to remain with your seeds right there, sitting right there, with nowhere to germinate. Yeah. So the black man must realize that the fight is not between them and the black woman. they must also be deep enough to realize that this fight on the surface is much bigger than they think. It's someone somewhere pulling up the strings so that we continue fighting as they benefit from it. Like I'm telling you once again, even the wars and the civil issues we have, the civil unrest we have in Africa, is because there has been a disconnect between the man and the woman. And the reason is the man believes that he is superior to the woman. We do not need a war of superiority and inferiority in Africa. What we need is to recognize the position of the woman, respect it as that position, and value it. If we do that, and we can see this amongst so many people, that if you respect your woman, if you respect the women in your life, you prosper. So that's what sometimes they lie to you. They tell you that's a blessing from I don't know where. No, it's a blessing because you are respecting the women around you. You are watering the garden that is germinating your own seeds. So to the African man, mainly, I want to say to the African man, to the black man, always know that anytime you're fighting a black woman, you're fighting the womb. You're fighting the main fabric of our society. And when you're fighting the main fabric of the society, remember what you're destroying is the future generations. And like I said, this goes on different levels. It goes on from, be it financial abuse, be it emotional abuse, be it disrespect, be it violence, be it the killings we've been seeing, all these kinds of things, all these things that we keep saying, oh, you are putting money in a woman, so you have to do certain things to her. Basically making women objects or objectifying our women. I'm telling them that the fight is not what they are playing, a game that is not their own. They always think that they are clever. No, we are not clever, by the way. By depreciating the woman, the black woman, we are not clever. We are actually the fools, to be honest. And someone is somewhere sitting and looking at us and thinking, look at these guys. Instead of respecting what would actually hold this society together, we are busy degrading it. So that's one thing I want to say. And then lastly, I want to talk to the women. Yeah. Of course, the women have to know that they are superior. Like I said earlier, these feminists keep fighting. They think that they're fighting for equality. A woman is superior. A woman is there to guide the man. And men who allow themselves to be guided by women go very far. I can tell you from a very early age personally, and that's why I say my mom has been very influential. I've never had an issue with a woman telling me what to do. I've never had an issue with my girlfriend, even at the university level. And I remember people kept saying sometimes that, oh, in Swahili we say umekalewa, like someone is dominating you. You understand? You will hear this a lot. You will hear this a lot among African men, Like if you're listening to your wife, if you are respectful to your wife, if your wife is speaking to you and you keep quiet and you listen, you are being dominated over. And this is something I had personally in university. But because I've never been the one to follow the grain like sheep, I follow what I want to do. I follow what my heart wants. If I feel that this is the right woman and what she has for me is her best interest at heart, I will follow it. And because I told you earlier that the feminine energy is so pure sometimes that you will know that what she's saying is right. Whether you want to listen to it or not, you will know it's what's right. That pure energy you will feel it as a black man. You will know. So some of us, when we listen to these women, they should know that we feel the energy that comes from these women. So my mom actually taught me to be someone who listens and learns. And my mom did not give me a macho. I'm not a macho man. I'm not the strong, hardened African man that people want, intimidating. No, I listen. I listen to the women around me, and I know that they have the best energy. The best intentions for me. So that listening spirit. So the women should know their power too. They should know that they're here to guide us. The women again have also taken on the societal role, and they have degraded themselves so low that sometimes they do not know their value and their worth. So they must know their value and their worth. They must know that they are way more superior, and they must know the kind of value they hold in the society. They must know that they are the glue that holds our society together. And that's very important. So I'm just telling the women, you know what? Know your value, know your worth, and know that you are the one guiding the society. If we want a better Africa, if you want a better economic development, political development, social development, we have to respect the woman, and we have to place her where she belongs. And she also has to place herself where she belongs. So women have to take space, women have to talk and be heard, women have to go for leadership positions, women have to speak in bad relationships. Women should not allow financial abuse. They should know about investments, let them make money. If the man wants to be comfortable, let the man be comfortable. Let the women take center stage in every single thing they do. That's my advice.
Wow, thank you so much. That sounds like a masterclass. I'll have to have you back.
Yeah.
I imagine there's some of this is maybe what you address. There's the financial aspect, but as just to remind viewers that you're the co-founder of Gene Coaching School. So would
Yeah.
I assume correctly that these are some of the things that you deal with through the coaching aspect that you do?
Yeah, that's actually good to say that Gene Coaching School actually came before Ken's MoneyMatters. So Ken's MoneyMatters is off Gene Coaching School
Okay.
because I realized that finances can be a bit too personal. And we do assume that finances are standalone things. You know, like you think that your life can all be organized, but finances are not organized. It's not like that.
Yes.
Most of the times, if your finances are messed up, your life is messed up generally. So you find like
Yes.
a lot of women have issues with their finances, but if you look into their relationships, they have very poor relationships. So there's no way you're going to help such a person organize their finances and do well without organizing their relationships. And that's where Gene Coaching and Ken's MoneyMatters now come in perfectly. I deal with the financial issues and stuff, but I also deal with life issues and relationship. And I also have Sheila, of course. You met Sheila. Sheila deals with a lot of stuff, even including diet and stuff like that. So
Okay.
finances are holistic. If you want to have your finances organized, your life has to be organized. If your life is organized, chances are your finances can easily be organized. So Gene Coaching School definitely that deals with all these issues. We deal with diet, we deal with life, relationships, careers, all these things that pertains to life. Like we say, everything for an African person, an African body, everything is holistic. An African body is created such that it's attached to nature. It's attached to everything. If you are sad, everything is affected. If you're happy, everything is vibrating high. We cannot compartmentalize things like the other races. We are
Yeah.
nature we are nature oriented. Everything is connected. If you're suffering financially, check around you. There are certain things that are not going well as well. So Gene Coaching School and Ken's MoneyMatters can complement each other so well. That's why we have those two entities. And people are welcome to join us and try it out.
Wonderful. So Gene Coaching School, people can find you on Facebook, right?
Yes, Gene Coaching
Gene
School is
Coaching
on
School.
Facebook. Ken's
Okay.
MoneyMatters on Facebook and YouTube. Ken's MoneyMatters on YouTube quite well.
And
And of
Instagram?
course, you can reach to us on our personal pages. I'm Ken Ouko. You can reach out to Sheila Maonga. Again, you can find her on Facebook. So yeah, that's where we can be found.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today. You've shared a lot of wisdom, and it really is not only pleasant, but it's important for us to hear, like I said, from our sons, the men, because there are two different perspectives. And when we were talking briefly earlier about, this whole concept, well, feminism is not for us, like it's not an African thing. But when we talk about empowering our women, it's not for the women alone to empower other women. It's a like you said, even holistically. So both our men and our women are we to work together to ensure that the women are doing well, and when the women are doing well, our men are doing well, because we're balancing that feminine energy. So Brother Ken, thank you so much for joining me. People do reach out to him, and maybe we'll have you back again at some point. To the viewers, whether you're watching live or replay, thanks for tuning in today. Like I said, please do subscribe to the channel. Find us here next week, same time, 2 p.m. GMT for Mothering Sunday series, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Ken.